is probably one of the most stressful efforts we ever have to go through. And we can use all the tips and tricks and edges that we can get. Do you ever wonder why you just shoot your resume all over and never get an interview? Hi, I'm Rebecca Wilson for Grab for the Grail. And today, we're going to talk about how to build resumes that actually get results. So here's why your resume probably isn't getting you the interviews you want. You're using words like results-driven or successful instead of showing real proof of what you can do. After years of writing resumes, let me tell you now how you can fix your resume. I'm going to provide some tips and tricks in this video and provide examples of what works and what doesn't, including how to really turn anything from college projects to cashier roles into powerful career stories by following a few simple techniques. So let's get started. The universities, online guides, and many resume writing services teach adjectives: dynamic, adept, results-driven. Those words don't really tell anyone what you can actually do. Hiring managers, and I am a hiring manager, and recruiters read hundreds of resumes. You need to give them evidence of your accomplishments and not just adjectives. So when I've reviewed these countless resumes, time after time, I see them packed full of this adjective salad. This is nothing to me as a hiring manager, because success to a 3-year-old is using the potty. That doesn't mean that I'm going to hire them as a project manager. Words such as success or results-driven are subjective to a person's experience or their own personal opinion. And because you're not in front of that person, you're not there with them, you can't tell them your definition of success or results-driven. And they're going to use their own frame of reference to draw on their own conclusions. And we hope that it's a good one. Why don't we get away from hoping and let's start getting into action? So don't lead with results-driven, dynamic, adept, high-performing. They're all subjective and meaningless without proof. Instead, imagine that hiring managers are going to look at what you write and they're going to say, yes, this person can do the job I have open. So, hiring managers and recruiters look at 200 resumes a day, all of them saying the same verbiage, dynamic and results-driven. The only way that you are going to be able to set yourself apart is if you focus on the 2 to 3 minutes you have to make an impression and change the way you position your words for maximum impact. You don't want the first 2 or 3 minutes of somebody reading your resume to literally talk about nothing. You want to quickly get straight to the point, build your elevator pitch, so they know within those minutes, right when reading your resume, they have an idea of exactly what they can expect from the rest of it. I'll give you a couple of examples later on in this video of how to do just this. But let's take a real quick detour for one other piece of advice. Do not copy and paste your resume bullets from one section to another. Take the time to make each section unique. Even if you've been doing the same job for a number of years, you don't want to end up like one of the resumes that came across my desk. I knew this person had copied and pasted the same bullets into each section of the resume, not only because, it was the same line repeated again and again, but they had the same exact spelling error in the same spot in every line. So throughout their entire resume, I was seeing the same line with the same exact issue. Before they even had a chance to meet me, I had already formed my first impression of this person. So let's talk then, how do we start building bullet points and a great summary that doesn't just provide a bunch of empty words and no tangible evidence to show how you can do the job, Let's tackle bullets first. In one line, you want to frame what was broken, what action did you take to fix it, and what are the results of that action? I refer to this as PAR, or P-A-R. Problem, action, result. Let's dive into PAR a little bit more. The problem. What challenge or gap did you identify? If you weren't the one to identify the problem, that's perfectly fine. Then a short summary of the problem that you were working on does just fine. What did you specifically do? This is our action. Your role, your task, your leadership. Did you plan? Did you come up with a solution? Did you execute in order to address the problem that was identified? What were those execution steps? The next part is the result. Numbers, metrics, or concrete outcomes that prove impact. Note that you can also prove impact through improvements to processes, improving operations, or eliminating manual workarounds. Regardless, the results should be tangible and should be a result of the action that you have taken. So now, take a moment, look at the bullets from your resume. Can you clearly identify the problem, the action you took, and the result? If not, I suggest that you rewrite that. Here's a couple of examples that I'll share with you today on ways that you can actually utilize PAR for pretty much anything. Let's take a college project. So in a college project, we're going to start with the bullet, led a team and was successful in building a campus website. Kind of lackluster, but if we apply PAR to this, we can take this bullet point and turn it into this. Led a 5-person team to design and launch a campus events website. Increased event RSVPs by 42% and onboarded 12 student orgs within the first semester. So let's take a moment and look at this. As a hiring manager, what does this bullet point actually say to me? So from that hiring manager viewpoint, in this example, I see that the problem they were trying to solve was the need for a campus events website. Within this bullet, I can tell that this individual can lead teams. Shows me the size of the teams that they have led. Shows the result of the actions they took, how their leadership created positive change. An increase in RSVPs, this creates a tangible percentage, and how many organizations that tangible percentage relates to. This tells me that if I needed somebody to launch a website for me, I'm pretty sure this person could coordinate that and get everyone involved to successfully launch our website and meet our targeted objectives. Let's take another example. Let's look at a cashier. Customer service role. Bullet might read, high-performing customer service worker who improved satisfaction. Again, doesn't really tell me too much. However, if we again apply PAR, we can turn this into improved customer satisfaction from 82% to 94% by reorganizing checkout flow and training 6 staff, resulted in manager assigning me 25% more weekly shifts. This particular bullet shows me that the problem they were trying to solve was increasing that customer satisfaction score. Shows me that they reorganized the checkout flow so they're able to tackle the reorganization of processes while handling the change management processes through training the staff to utilize this new process. These are leadership skills. Furthermore, this also shows that their efforts were rewarded by their manager, assigning them more tasks because they liked the results that this employee was giving and taking the initiative to get those results. This indicates that this person may be recognized as a potential high performer, so I may want to know more about this individual. Okay, quick tip. Be mindful when using percentages. A percent without scale can be misleading. Raised sales by 50% means very different things if that's from 1 to 2 versus 100 to 150. Always include the base or total where possible. For example, you don't want to say increased sales 50%. Instead, try increased quarterly sales from 200 to 300 units, plus 50%. Utilizing numbers can sometimes be difficult, especially when you've worked in roles that don't have tangible numbers assigned to them. However, this doesn't mean that there aren't numbers that you can't tie to your accomplishments. Take the time to dig for numbers, even if you don't think they may matter, such as hours saved, customers helped, revenue, event turnout, budget management, etc. Now, it's going to probably take a couple times to rewrite your bullets to get them into a succinct format, because remember, you have a limited amount of time to make an impression on a recruiter or a hiring manager. Meaning, you don't want your bullet points to read like your latest novel. They should be short and engaging, focusing on telling the story and using as few words as possible. Now, let's look at building a powerful summary. A summary is almost like the back of a book. It should tell you a quick snippet of everything that a recruiter or hiring manager needs to know about you as quickly as possible, yet entice them to want to know more. That's why we have to get to the interview. The top portion of the page is your elevator pitch. Don't waste it on empty language. Tell the recruiter exactly why you fit the job posting and back it up with 1 or 2 quick metrics that showcase specific accomplishments that you want to highlight. For example, operations leader, 11 years, in healthcare analytics, built an automated HEDIS reporting pipeline that cut monthly reporting time from 12 days to 2 days and saved $350,000 annually. This example highlights not only how experienced this person is, what domains they have experience in, but also highlights the specific accomplishments that I can look at as a hiring manager and say, I want to see those kind of results on my team. The summary is where most people put the majority of that empty language. Going back to what we said at the beginning of the video, you want to avoid empty language that doesn't showcase your skills and talents. You want to show them what you bring to the job. Another good brief example would be to go from saying results-driven professional with a strategic mind and a track record of success. Move that to product manager with 7 years of experience in SaaS product launches. Led cross-functional team of 8 to launch a customer portal that increased user retention by 18% and reduced support tickets by 25%. As a hiring manager, again, this tells me a lot about this particular candidate. It lets me know at what level in their career they're at, how many years of experience they have, what technologies or industries they may have experience in, and if they have team leadership. It also tells me how big of a team they have led and what results they've achieved in their previous roles. I have a good impression of this candidate before I've even had an opportunity to meet them. Quick thing my dad always said, a resume is a door opener. It's the interview that lands the job. So it's good to align this summary with the job. Make sure that you're targeting specifically what problems the organization is hoping to solve and telling them why you're the person who's going to solve them and how. This is where I would also caution against using too much AI. True, AI is really helpful, but ensure that you are reviewing what it's written for you. AI has a tendency to provide a lot of empty language and doesn't always give a pointed statement that directly correlates to the job. Make sure that if you do feed your bullet points or your summary through an AI, you take the time to edit that response to ensure that it still follows par and avoids the use of empty language. So, as we wrap up here, I also want to share a few other tips when writing your resume and some common traps to avoid. Don't spend too much time talking about the company that you worked for or giving them what amounts to a Wikipedia article about the company's revenue, projects, and work streams. If you do want to mention anything about the company, keep it short, important, limiting it to maybe one sentence. Cover topics such as the industry they're in, what customers they serve. Keep it relevant to the job. Ask yourself why the recruiter or hiring manager should care. Next, make sure you're using action words effectively. Don't say that you took initiative without examples to back up how you took that initiative. Next, listing tasks instead of results. Avoid your resume looking like a task list. Make sure that you use PAR every time for every bullet. Furthermore, focus on the actions you took and not the responsibilities you had. Don't write your resume like it's a job description. It's supposed to be the story of you. For example, don't say responsible for X, instead say achieved Y. Remember, your resume is not just a list of jobs. It's the story of you. It's proof that you can solve problems and take action. That's what companies hire for. Drop one of your resume bullets in the comments below. I'll pick a few to rewrite in a special response to the comments episode. Now, before you hit submit on your next application, take a step back, look at each bullet and ask yourself, does this prove my impact? Or does it just sound nice? If it's the second, rewrite it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe and share with a friend who's job hunting right now. Until then, go write resumes that actually get interviews.